What's happening, y'all? Chandler Holt here. Welcome to today's live training. Excited to have you here. We're going to get this kicked off in just a minute. If you can just comment in the chat and let me know that you can hear me, that you can see me, and also let me know where you're tuning in from. All right. Comment in the chat. Let me know that you can hear me, see me, and where you're tuning in from. And we're going to get this thing started. Sorry, my visual, I think, is a little blurry. That is weird. Hopefully that gets fixed here in just a second. I've got a real fancy camera, but apparently it is not translating very well. I'm going to share my slides here in just a second, so that should make it a lot better. Sorry about that. Well, a bunch of people saying you can hear me and see me. So we're going to dive in. This is live. Shout out to Harv, the man, the myth, the legend himself, for inviting me in to teach you guys today and speak with you. I've had Harv on the podcast, and he talk about a guy who has used books to grow an empire. It's pretty incredible. So we've got Penny in Florida, Barbara in Virginia. Love it. Nova Scotia, Nigeria. We've got Puerto Rico, Denmark, more folks in Denmark, San Juan, Puerto Rico. View is better now. Thank you. It looks like it's maybe going a little bit in and out. Minnesota, Atlanta, Hungary. Okay. So we're going to be hanging out for about an hour today. I'm going to make you a couple promises. Number one, we're going to have fun. This is live. Your chat goes directly to me. Number two, you're going to learn a lot. This isn't a fluff webinar. This is meant to be helpful for you. And then number three, you're going to leave here with progress on your book. Okay. Those are my promises to you. All that I ask is you give me your undivided attention for this next hour and some change. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And I think that should make some things a little bit better for you. So if you guys will just comment one more time and let me know that you can hear me. You should also see my screen now, and we're going to get into it. I love this. Andriana says, we are not live. Yes, we are. If anybody else wants to test me, you can drop something in the chat as well. So this is what we're going to be talking about today. And if you guys can just let me know, okay, Laura can see the screen. Other folks can see the screen as well. And so this is what we're going to be talking about is the future of publishing, the proven path to write and launch your book to over 10,000 copies sold. Okay. So that's what we're talking about today. Stick around to the end. You'll get a link to my slides and my notes and a digital copy of my new book published. Okay, and so I'm going to unshare this. Sorry for all these technical difficulties, y'all. I think you should be able to hear me. All right, look, there we go. Can see the screen. And so I'm going to share one more time. And I think this will be a little bit better. All right. So stick around to the end. You'll get a link to my slides, notes, and a digital copy of my new book. Okay. How many of you have heard of this guy or this book? Okay. This guy is Robert Kiyosaki. This book is Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Now, when I was about, 16 years old, my dad handed me a copy of this book. Okay. And it changed my life forever. It introduced me a couple concepts that I now wholeheartedly believe in. It looks like a bunch of you have seen and read the book. And so it showed me, first off, that books change lives. This book changed my life at 16 years old. I mean, it really altered the trajectory of my life. How many of you have had your life changed by reading a book? All right, if your hand's not up or you're not putting something in the chat, you should probably read more. Some of the smartest people on the planet have written and published books, and all you have to do is, take $15 and a handful of hours, and you can learn the best things that they know. It looks like a couple people can't hear me, so I'm just making sure that everybody gets sorted here. So books change lives. They change the lives of readers. They change the life of authors, right? And I saw that happen later when I published my own book. And so this book showed me that. It also introduced me to passive income through real estate. Now I got really excited about this concept, but then I realized, hey, I'm 15 years old, 16 years old. I don't have $50,000 to put down on a duplex. So I gave up on passive income, and I went off to school to College of Charleston to learn how to run a business. Now, pretty quickly, once I got there, I realized I'm learning how to run a business from professors who have never ran businesses. Now, that didn't make any sense to me, so I decided to drop out. Now, right before I dropped out, I studied abroad in Austria, and I was about the time this picture was taken. I was snowboarding in Austria, and I remember, I was talking to a friend who heard that I published the book, and he said, "Chandler, I heard that you published this book. I heard that it's doing well. Question for you though: is the book making any money? Books don't make money, right?" And I thought for a second, and I said, "You know what? Actually, yes. While we were snowboarding all day yesterday, the book made over $400." And it was almost as if, as I said that, as those words came out of my mouth, I realized what was happening. Okay, people were buying my book all around the country, all around the world, countries I'd never even been to. This book was changing lives, right? Now, it started making money too. I mean, it started making a few $1,000s a month. It started paying the bills. When I dropped out of college, and it changed my life. It kept my head above water. It was really a life-changing book. And so that was kind of a crazy process for me. But really what happened is the book became this key that opened the door to Narnia. How many of you have read the books? You've seen the movies, Chronicles of Narnia? If you have, you know that they discover this key that opens this door to this magical world that they didn't know existed. It's this world. It's kind of a crazy world and so what I realized, and sorry about this, y'all. I'm just having a couple technical difficulties, and so I'm trying to get those sorted for y'all. We got some folks who have okay. All right. Sorry about that. So a book's a key that opens the door to this magical world that really only exists for published authors, right? You publish a book, it starts to open up all of these opportunities for you. And so what I want you to do right now is I want you to grab a piece of paper. If you're not taking notes, now's a great time to start. And I want you to write out at the top of your page this phrase. The phrase is because of my book. Because of my book. All right. And I want you to dream with me for a second. Go a year into the future, 3 years into the future, and start writing out, hey, what are the opportunities that you want your book to open up for you? Okay. Now, while you're writing those up, I'll start kind of going through some of the things that opened up for me because of my first book. So because of that first book, I started getting interviewed for top podcasts. I got featured on the Huffington Post, right? I got offered a 7-figure digital publishing deal, right? Built an email list, started a business, all because of that first book. It was pretty crazy, but all of these opportunities just really started opening up for me, right? And so what I realized in that process, and what I've seen happen for thousands of authors over the last decade that we've been helping people publish books, is that I've realized that a book is the best and the fastest way to grow your impact, your income, and your business if you have one, right? You do work once, you create a book, and then that book goes on to impact a ton of people, right? So that really is the power of books. And so if we haven't got a chance to meet yet, my name is Chandler Bolt. I'm the CEO of selfpublishing.com. I'm from a small town called Walhalla, South Carolina, in the middle of nowhere. You've probably never heard of it. I've helped over 7,000 people write and publish their books. This is my newest book there. And we publish about 2 to 5 books every single day. Okay, so all day, every day, we publish books, you name it, we've probably published it. I've grown the business to over $75 million over the last decade. That helped me land on the Forbes 30 under 30 list. And I did all this despite being a C- English student. Okay, so I promise if I can do it, you definitely can. All right, and so what I want to talk about today is really these 3 lessons. Okay, I want to talk about 3 things. And yeah, your guys' chat goes directly to me, Matthew. And so number 1, selfpublishing.com, or sorry, self-publishing versus traditional publishing. So let's talk about the pros and the cons. Which one should you choose? And which one's a better fit for you? Then we'll talk about number 2, how do you write the book in as little as a weekend without writing a single word? And then lesson number 3, we're going to talk about how do you successfully launch the book to generate royalties and clients. Okay, so that's the agenda for today. And then at the end, I'll take a couple minutes to share with you how you can work with us personally at selfpublishing.com to go faster, further with your book. Okay, now there's also, so we've helped over 100 authors publish in the last 90 days. There's 5 things that those 100 plus authors have in common, 5 traits that you can replicate that I'm going to walk you through in this training as well. All right. And then I'll just address this up front because I know there will be questions. We've helped people in just about any genre, any language, you name it, we've published it. Okay. So it doesn't matter what type of book you're writing. We can help you with that. And we probably even have a program to help specifically for that. Okay. So let's talk about lesson number 1, which is self-publishing versus traditional publishing. Okay, so you may or may not know this, but there's been a massive shift over the last couple of decades, and it's a shift away from traditional publishing and towards self-publishing. Well, why is that? Well, there's a handful of reasons, but the big one is that the majority of money that's being made by authors is being made by self-published authors. Okay, so it used to be that the only way that you sold books, well, actually, I'll back up a second here. There's a few main differences when it comes to self-publishing versus traditional publishing. Okay, we got the fire truck outside. Sorry about that. Few main differences. Okay, so I'm going to walk through these. The first one's distribution. So it used to be that the only way that you sold books was to get into bookstores, right? And the only way to get into bookstores was to have a publishing deal. The only way to have a publishing deal was to have an agent. And there's kind of all these gatekeepers and middlemen in that process. Well, now over 70% of all books sold are sold on Amazon and other online retailers, and you don't need a publisher to publish on those platforms. Okay, so that's really democratized distribution and made it largely a non-factor, right? But there are a few other main differences that you should consider, all right, when it comes to whether you self-publish or traditional publish. So there's royalty rates, there's cost to publish, and then there's the time that it takes in the process. And I'll kind of map those out one by one. Okay, so let's start with royalty rates. So if you self-publish a book, you're going to make somewhere between 20 to 70% royalties per book. Okay, if you're traditionally publishing, you might make 8 to 12% royalties per book. Not good. Okay, so what that means is self-published, you made $2 to $5 a book, while traditionally publish, you're lucky if you see $1 a book. That might not seem like a big difference, but where this really starts to compound is in your first 10,000 copies sold. Okay, so if you traditionally publish, you're lucky if you see any money. If you self-publish, you might see $20, $50, $100,000 or more from those same 10,000 copies sold. So royalty rates is a big difference. Now, what about the cost though? So if you traditionally publish, obviously they're covering the cost of publishing for you up front in exchange for keeping the lion's share of the royalties. All right. Now then, there's something called hybrid publishing or vanity publishing. We're actually doing a video on this, I think maybe tomorrow, on why hybrid publishing is mostly a scam. Because typically, if you're hybrid publishing, you're paying someone to publish your book for you. Okay, so it might be $5,000, it might be $10,000, it might be $50,000 or more, right? It can be a really big difference, it can be a really big difference in the process. Okay, so hey, I'm going to do one more quick. Sorry about that. Okay, I think my audio should be fixed now. All right, sorry about that. Jeez, that's how you know this is live. So hybrid publishing, you're paying 10, 50 grand, maybe more, and they're probably keeping the lion's share of the royalties. Big difference, right? Now, what about, and then the last piece, self-publish, you're covering the cost up front in exchange for keeping the lion's share of the royalties yourself. So I like to say self-publishing is entrepreneurial publishing. It's betting on yourself, right? You take the risk up front, you keep the upside on the back end. Now, what about the cost though? This is a different cost that not a lot of people consider, and that's your time. So let's say you value your time at, $20 an hour or more. Well, every 5 additional hours that you invest into this book is $100 worth of your time that you're investing into the book. And so if you're traditionally publishing, it's going to take you a minimum of 2 years, right? It takes a while. If you're self-publishing, it might take a year, it might take a decade, depending on how self-disciplined you are. And then we find on average with our authors at selfpublishing.com, it takes them somewhere between 9 to 18 months. Okay, so our goal, if we're working with people, is on the cost side of things. Our goal is to save you hundreds, if not thousands of dollars in the process, right? On editing, cover design, formatting, all the things, but then also to save you hundreds of hours in the process to help you write a better book faster. Okay, so the long and short of it is for 99.9% of you here, it makes more sense to self-publish. The only time that it might make sense to traditionally publish is if you've got a massive audience and you can get a big advance. Even then, it might not make sense. Okay, so this brings me back to the 5 things that those 100+ authors did that we've helped publish over the last 90 days. Is number 1, they chose to self-publish. They realized they could go faster, further by self-publishing their book. Okay, you guys tracking with me? Is this helpful so far? Hopefully sound and video and audio and everything's good. Let me know if this is helpful. And we're going to move into lesson 2, which is how to write your book in as little as a weekend. Okay, love it. Sound works if you refresh. Thank you, Joshua, Andrea, Leo. All right. Can finally hear. Okay, awesome. So, hey, I want to do a quick poll here. I want to hear from everyone. So in the chat, my guess is everyone here is in one of 3 buckets. Bucket 1, you know what you want to write about. If that's you, type I have an idea in the chat. Okay. Bucket number 2, you're not sure what you want to write about. If that's you, type not sure in the chat. And then bucket number 3, you've got too many ideas. If that's you, type too many ideas in the chat. Okay, let's see where people are at. Laura has an idea. Michelle says not sure. Sarah has an idea. Janie says not sure. Anna not sure. Joshua has an idea. Matt not sure. Idea. A bunch of people with ideas. Daniel, too many ideas. Denise has an idea. Craig, too many ideas. Okay, a bunch of people with too many ideas. Love it. Okay, so we're kind of all over the map here. This is going to be helpful no matter where you're at. What I want to do is divide this into 2 parts. So part 1 is if you're still trying to come up with what you want to write about. All right, so feel free to take a picture of this slide. This is called the idea finder, right? So this is a handful of questions that's going to help you get clear on what you should write your book about, right? So exactly what you're talking about, Jennifer, which one is most compelling. We'll talk about that next. But first, if you're still getting clear, ask these questions. So what do you get paid for? Or what's your expertise? What are you passionate about? What's a topic that you know a lot about? What are people coming to you for advice on? What are the broken record conversations that you have over and over again with every new client or prospect? In those things is probably a really great book, right? And it's the book that you probably wish that you had when you got started in the thing that you do, right? So I'll give you a couple of examples. This is one of our authors at selfpublishing.com, Kat Wonders. She has a passion for yoga. Turn that passion for yoga into a book called Yoga for You. Turn that book into a business. She says, thanks to my successful launch, my business has boomed an extra $30,000 this month. Pretty insane. She got 10 clients at $3,000 a piece within a month of her launch, all that found her because of her book. Okay, so that's a fun example. Here's another example in the fiction world. Any aspiring fiction authors, type fiction in the chat. Not a lot of people know this, but we got a whole fiction arm of the company. And this is the book by Rami, who leads our fiction department, called The Fundamentals of Fiction. If you haven't read this book, you got to read this book. It's really, really good. So I see we got a few fiction folks. Clara, Simon, Amy. Look at that. Oops. I accidentally backspaced. Okay, wow. Fred, Rebecca, a bunch more folks. Okay, so if you're thinking about writing fiction, here's a great example with Ashley Emma. She used personal life experience to write a fiction series. That fiction series is doing crazy well. Okay, now what about memoirs? Anybody trying to write a memoir? Type memoir in the chat. So we've got a whole memoir program that's really, really good. Believe it or not, writing a memoir is more like writing fiction than it is nonfiction, except you're the main character. Okay, yeah, memoir self-help. Yep, we help a lot of people do those type of books. Yeah, so this is great. So here's one of our memoir authors that had a lot of success with their memoir. Now, what about the folks who said, hey, I've got too many ideas? Too many ideas. Okay, so we only have one main rule when we work with people is you can't write more than one book at a time. Try to catch 2 rabbits, you'll end up catching neither. So you got to focus on one idea and write that one book first. How do you do that though? You ask yourself these 3 questions. Okay, so I want you to ask yourself these 3 questions right now. Try and narrow in on one idea and then type the phrase one idea in the chat once you've got it. Okay. So question 1, which one can I finish the fastest? So maybe you have the most content or life experience on this topic, right? Question 2, which one am I most likely to finish? So not only are you going to get started, but you're going to take it all the way to the finish line. And then question number 3, which one's going to make me happy? All right, so I'm going to enjoy writing this book. Answer those 3 questions. Try and narrow in on one idea. Once you've got it, type the phrase one idea in the chat. Catalin's got it. Matthew's got one idea. Let's see. Anna, Andrea, Jennifer, Janie, Love it. A bunch more folks. Okay. Now, once you've got that one idea, how do we write the book? For some people, this is the hardest or the most intimidating part. I mentioned earlier, I hated writing. I'm a C-level English student and a college dropout with ADHD. If there was a, if there was a least likely to publish list, it would just be me. All right. I didn't like it. Wasn't good at it. But I am a big fan of this concept. Maybe you've heard of it. It's called who, not how. Y'all heard of that? Who, not how says that anytime I run into a problem in my life or in my business, I ask the question, who has solved this, not how do I solve it? Because if I can figure out the who, well, then they know the how, right? And I can pay them for a shortcut. So that's what I did with my first book. I found a mentor who had written a book before. I said, hey, how'd you do this? And he introduced me to this kernel of an idea on how to get started. That's became a core part of a framework that we teach called the More Writing Method. Write that down. More Writing Method. The M stands for mind map. How many of you have heard of mind map? Probably most of you. This is not a new concept. What's new is using it. Okay, so a mind map is a brain dump around all the ideas for the topic of your book. Okay, and so that's the first step. So what I want you to do right now is I want you to go ahead and grab a blank sheet of paper. And then once you've got it, just type the phrase paper in the chat. Once you've got a piece of paper, okay, should look a little bit like this. Go ahead and draw a circle in the middle of the page. Okay, once you've got that, I want you to go ahead and write your book topic in the middle of the page. Sarah's got paper, so does Daisy, Matt, Daniel, Anna, Rebecca, Ernesto. Love it. Okay, once you've got your book topic in the middle of the page, I'm about to put 2 minutes on the clock, and I want you to mind map. I want you to write out everything you can think of. Just kidding. Hey, how many of you made progress on your mind map in that 2 minutes? If you made progress, just type I made progress in the chat. Okay? If you made progress, type I made progress in the chat. So you should have something that's starting to look a little bit like this. Okay, so you've got some ideas that are flowing out of your head and onto the page. Okay, so good news, bad news. Good news is it looks like a bunch of you made progress. That's awesome. Kimberly says, wow, definitely made progress. Andrea got progress and clarity. Rui, Fred, Matt, Simon, Amy, Ernesto, Daisy, Laura. Look at that. Jennifer, a bunch more folks. Okay, that's awesome. That's the good news. Bad news is you probably guessed it takes more than 2 minutes to mind map a book. So what I'd encourage you to do is take 15 minutes as soon as this webinar is over tonight before you go to bed and try and finish your mind map. Okay, how many of you can commit to that? Who's bold enough to commit to it? Just type I'm committed in the chat if that's you. Because if you do, check this out. It's gonna make the whole rest of the writing process much easier. Nice, yes, committed. This committed group. All right, if you're hanging out with T. Harv, you're committed. It's because you're gonna move to the O and the more writing method, which is to outline. So you're gonna turn your mind map into an outline. To do that, you'll group groups of ideas into themes or sections. So now all of a sudden, hopefully you've got about 5 groups of ideas, 5 sections, order those in the order you want to cover them in the book, then drill down about 3 chapters per section. Now all of a sudden, you've got about a 15 chapter outline that you can use to write the rough draft of your book 1 chapter at a time. Okay, so that moves to the R in the more writing method, which stands for rough draft. Okay, and so to write your rough draft, you're going to do it 1 chapter at a time using this process. Okay, so you'll mind map, outline, write the chapter, repeat that process chapter by chapter by chapter. Okay, or how many of you speak better than you write? Anyone like me? Speak better than you write? Well, if you do, well then guess what? Just do that. Mind map, outline, speak the chapter, repeat that process chapter by chapter by chapter. That's another life change right there. I don't know if you heard that. So then you repeat that process chapter by chapter, get it transcribed. Now all of a sudden your draft is finished a whole lot faster than you think. The question that people always ask at this stage, hey, how fast can I finish a draft? The ideal length of a book is about 15 to 60,000 words. So whether you speak it or write it, even if you don't use AI, you can get a rough draft done in as little as a weekend. Now this is meant to be an extreme example, and it's a rough draft, right? It's not a finished book, but it can happen a whole lot faster than you think. And this brings me back to the 5 things those 100+ authors did. Remember them? The people we've helped over the last 90 days that are just like you. They got published. They committed to getting their rough draft done. This is a big one. This is the part that trips people up, right? And so if you just put the blinders on, like these folks did, they commit. And especially if we end up working together, we're going to hold you accountable, right? We're going to coach you in the process. We're going to, but we're going to most importantly keep you focused and accountable towards getting your rough draft done. Because as soon as you get your rough draft done, everything gets easier. You start to see the light at the end of the tunnel. You start to believe that this is possible. Okay? You guys still tracking with me? Is this still helpful? All right. So let's get into lesson number 3. All right. Now, before I do, I've got a resource that I think is going to be really helpful for you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop the link in the chat. And so I just dropped the link in the chat to our YouTube channel. So what I want you to do is click that link, head on over to our channel, and then go ahead and subscribe to the channel. And then if you did, just comment in the chat and just say, I subscribed. Okay. We just passed 100,000 subscribers, got that fancy YouTube plaque just a few days ago, or I guess a few weeks ago. And so I'd love for you to subscribe to the channel. We literally just dropped a video today that'll be really helpful for you. You can watch it after this webinar. It's about the 7 fundamentals of a bestseller. Okay. We drop videos every week on that channel. I think you'll love it. You can also follow us or me on Instagram. We drop a lot of helpful content on there as well. If you follow me personally on Instagram, you can see a funny video from a couple of days where I pranked my wife on her anniversary. That one's kind of blowing up right now. But let's see. Ernesto says it's great info. Catalin subscribed. So did Kimberly, Laura, Matt. Okay, wow. bunch of people just subscribed. Look at that. We may have even passed. Oh, wow. Look at that. We just passed 100,500 subscribers. Hey, thank you guys. Great content that I think you'll like on that channel every single week. So appreciate you guys subscribing, and I hope you love the content. So I mentioned earlier I dropped out of college, and I thought, look out world, here I come. I'm going to be an overnight success. And I had a mentor one time who said, Chandler, it takes 10 years to become an overnight success. And I found that to be true, because what actually happened is about 18 months later, about 18 months after I dropped out, I woke up to this. This is that all of my bank accounts were negative. Okay, I'd borrowed 15 grand in what I call triple F financing. 15 grand in triple F financing. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of that. That's what I call it. It's friends, family, and fools. These are only people dumb enough to give you money at this stage of your business. And so not only are all my bank accounts negative, but I'm 15 grand in debt. And I remember I went to make myself some food, and all I had were these 2 end pieces of loaf of bread. And so I made myself a double end piece peanut butter sandwich, which is just as nasty as you're thinking right now. It's funny, I was giving a talk the other day, and a lady said, this looks like a frowny face in the sandwich. And yeah, that's how I felt. I'm about to fail at dropping out of school. Kind of the biggest failure I could think of. But I remember again asking the who, not how question. Write that down if you haven't already. Who, not how. And I found a mentor who was very successful in business. And I said, hey, what am I doing wrong? How do I fix this? And he said, well, Chandler, you need to meet Sam. I said, perfect. Who's Sam? Why do I need to know him? He said, well, Sam is sales and marketing. Sam is sales and marketing. He says, if you don't learn it, your business will continue to struggle. You're going to stay broke, won't grow. But if you do learn it, you can write your own paycheck. People always need more leads. They always need more customers. Right? Your business will grow as fast as you want. Your books will sell faster. So I took it to heart, and I started learning everything I could about sales and marketing. Okay, I used what I learned to launch a book. That book's called Book Launch. I used that book to launch a business. In the first 55 days, the book brought in 3,300 leads and over $92,000 in sales for my business from this book, which was absolutely bonkers. The snowball started rolling, and it was really a life-changing moment for me. It helped me get featured on Business Insider. They did a story on me and on the business. We went from zero to $1.32 million over the next 11 months off the back of that book. And the best part is the book still brings in leads and still brings in business every single month to this day. And so what I want to teach here is the 3 steps that I used to launch a book that you can also use to launch your book. Okay. And step number 1 is to get a good cover that grabs attention. People say don't judge a book by its cover, right? But we all judge books by their cover. So you need to have a good one. A good book cover does 3 things. Okay. Number 1, grabs attention. I'll use my book as an example here. You can see this cover. 1, grabs attention, cover's red. 2, the title's easy to read and it's in the upper third, right? And then 3, your prospect or potential reader needs to instantly understand what the book's about and whether or not it's for them. Okay, so what do you think this book's about? It's about how to publish a book, right? You instantly get it, all right? And so that brings me to the other steps, which, oh, by the way, there's a whole chapter on this in the book. So grab a copy of the book, highly recommend it. Get it off of Amazon, off of our website, or on Audible or Spotify if you like the audiobook. I narrate it. There's a whole chapter on how to create a good cover. Right? So if you want to go more in depth on that process, you can check that out. Page 89. There's a whole diagram. We got a video coming out on the YouTube channel as well. But then steps 2 and steps 3 Step 2 is to build a launch team. Okay. Step 3 is to get reviews. Now, again, I've got a whole chapter on each of these in the book as well. So if you want to go deeper on the launch team or on getting reviews, there's a whole chapter on each in the book. Okay, but let's kind of go ahead and go high level overview of those two things with the concept of a launch team. All right, so if you've never heard of a launch team is a small group of people who support you or the topic of your book. Okay, so there's what they agree to do, which is to read the book ahead of time, to leave a review on day one. This is powerful. If you do nothing else to launch your book, just do this. Okay, because now all of a sudden you're launching with, if you do it right, dozens of reviews on the book. Now there's what they get in return, which is a free digital copy of the book. Maybe you put their name in the book. They get to be a part of something inspiring, right? And be a part of the launch. Now, what happens when you follow these steps? Okay, so I'll give you an example here. This is one of my favorite examples. This is Eileen Wilder. So Eileen was on a webinar just like this. And she said, Chandler, I don't even fully know what I want to write about, but I trust you. I trust the process. Let's work together. We helped her write and publish this book called The Brave Body Method. The book did so well, self-published, that next thing she knew, she's front and center in Barnes & Noble doing a book signing. Self-published, right? And it all started because she took action on a webinar like this, right? And so that's kind of a fun example. Love Eileen's story. And so let's talk about how do you actually make money from the book. All right, so I want to do a quick poll here. How many of you are entrepreneurs or aspiring entrepreneurs? If that's you, type entrepreneur in the chat. Okay, I'll come back to that. Whether you are or not, you probably want to make money, mailbox money on royalties. Okay, so I'll cover that piece first. So one of the simplest ways that you can maximize your royalties, this is also a big mistake that I see a ton of authors make, is they don't do this. And that's that they don't publish in all formats, ebook, print, and audio. If you publish in all formats, you're going to sell a whole lot more copies. You're going to make a lot more money. Let's imagine for a second that you sell 100 copies in a random month 3 years from now. Well, guess what? That's a few $100 in royalty checks, mailbox money that keeps coming in from the book. Okay. But then business, if you use a book to grow your business, obviously Harf is one of the best examples of that. And that's why he brought me in to teach today. That's why he's such a big believer in this, is using the book to grow your business. So Andrea, Jeannie, Jennifer, Laura, bunch of people. All right. So use the book to get customers. This book here has brought in roughly $7 million in sales over the last 12 months. People buy the book, they read the book, they book a call with my team, sign up to work with us, right? You work with us on your book and you have a business. We will show you how to use the book to drive massive revenue on the back end of your book. Okay, you got to be strategic with it, but if you do it the right way, it's the best lever that you can use to start or grow a business. All right, so I'll give you a couple of examples here. This first one is Otakar Klecki. This is one of our authors. She says 9 months bestseller, over 10,000 copies sold. Thank you, selfpublishing.com. If you're on your journey, don't give up. When you publish a Kindle book, don't stop. Make it all formats. I wouldn't be selling 1,000+ books monthly if I didn't do that. And if I can do it despite English being my second language, so can you. Okay, here's another example. This is a business example. David McKay emailed me the other day. He worked with us and he said, hey, I published 2 books inside of a year. And within a year, they've already brought in over $10,000 in royalty checks, over $45,000 in business. Crazy. And those books are bringing in 30 to 40 leads per week. It's pretty crazy. Okay, so that's the power of using a book to grow your business, right? He's getting free leads. In a lot of cases, he's getting paid to get leads because they're buying the book. So this brings me back to the 5 things, those 100+ people did to publish successfully. And a reminder, these are the folks we've helped publish over the last 90 days. Number 3, they became friends with Sam. You don't have to like Sam, sales and marketing, but you do have to learn it. If you build it, they will not come. You got to tell them about it, right? And that means getting good at sales and marketing so that no matter how you publish, you get the book in the hands of the people who need it and want it the most, okay? So let's recap what we learned so far. We got a few more things to cover. So we talked about 3 things: self-publishing versus traditional publishing, so pros and cons, which one should you choose? Then we talked about the more writing method, the steps to write your book. We got a bunch of people with mind maps, mostly created, committed to finishing them. And then we talked about the 3 steps to successfully launch your book. Now, the question I get asked all the time at this point is, Chandler, will this work for where I'm at? So I haven't even started or have already published and the book's just not doing so well. Can you help me? And then the bigger question is, hey, can you just help me implement what you just taught? And the answer to both of those questions is yes. Okay, this is exactly why we created selfpublishing.com, and this is exactly why we're creating the future of publishing. Okay, so selfpublishing.com, if you haven't heard of us, we're an online education and service company. We help people write and publish books that grow your impact, your income, and your business if you have one. All right, now what is it? I like to say it's kind of like a mix between Indiana Jones and Jillian Michaels. Okay, so Indiana Jones, we blaze the trail. Our goal is to save you hundreds, if not thousands of dollars in the process and hundreds of hours in the process, help you write a better book that sells more copies. And then Jillian Michaels, we hold you accountable to do the work. Okay, obviously, if you're here right now, this book's important to you. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. Right? But there's a reason why your book's not done or published or maybe doing as well as you want. And that's because you need this 1-2 punch. Someone to blaze the trail, someone to hold you accountable. And so that's really where we come in. Now, more specifically, how we help is it'll start with a one-on-one consultation. We'll customize a solution based on your needs. We'll pair you up with a coach who will work with you one-on-one over the next year on your book. Okay. You'll get access to hundreds of group coaching calls over the next year. Use them as you please, right? Workshops, all the things to help you get your book done and be more successful. And then this is really fun. There's this final mile of publishing, okay? This is, it's expensive, it's confusing, it really trips people up. And so we just do all this stuff for you, okay? So cover design. Like I said, designing it well, we'll do it for you. Layout, formatting so that your book looks good, we do it for you. ISBN, book description, uploading, publishing, distribution, we do all that stuff for you. And the best part is you keep the access, the rights, and the royalties, which is a beautiful thing and pretty much unheard of. So that brings me back to the 5 things that those 100+ authors did. This is the big one. Number 4, all of those folks obviously decided to get help. And they asked the who question, not the how question. So obviously, everyone here, we're here because of T. Harv. And so obviously, T. Harv and his team, they realized that we're the who. We're the best people on the planet to help people with this thing. And these folks that were on this webinar decided to get our help as well with their book. And so if you're on the webinar right now and you're thinking kind of similarly, you'd love to take next steps with your book. Well, the next steps, if you want to implement what you just learned, is to book a call with my team. So I'll give you the link here in just a second. But before I do, let me just kind of walk you through how this is going to work. So we've set aside time over the next 48 hours to speak with you personally about how you can implement what you've just learned. Okay, so you'll book a call with one of the experts on my team. These are folks who have helped hundreds, and in most cases, thousands of people just like you take the next step with their book. Whatever's holding you back, we'll show you how to overcome it. The cost of the phone call is free. We've covered the cost of the phone call for you. All you have to do is book a call and then show up for that call. Okay, now spots are extremely limited. We stay pretty booked up. So please only book a call if you're serious about getting your book done now. you've got high integrity. And then lastly, if you're serious about investing time, money, and energy into the success of your book. Okay, so if all those things can be said about you, what I want you to do is go ahead and book a call right now at this page. Okay, so you can type that URL in your browser, or you should have just seen a little pop-up that popped up. If you see that pop-up that popped up in the chat, there's an orange button that says schedule now. Just click that orange button, take you to the same place, head on over to the page, and then book a call. Okay, now if you're on your way to booking a call, or if you just booked a call, I want you to comment in the chat, I booked a call, with that phrase, I booked a call. All right, and if you do, well, I've got a surprise bonus that I'm going to tell you about here in just a second if you book live while we're here. So go ahead and book right now if you're on your way, or if you just did so, just comment in the chat, I booked a call. Okay. Now, why are we doing this? Why did Harv, bring me in to host this webinar? Why are we doing these calls for free? All that stuff. Well, because for both of us, the thing that we have in common is that writing and publishing a book changed our lives forever. It's one of the single best decisions that I know that I've ever made, and I would assume for him as well. And I love helping people. We both do, and I love giving back. I know that this call is going to be helpful for you, whether we work together or not. Okay, so I've covered the cost of the phone call for you. All you have to do is book a call and then show up, right? And then my bold promise to you is that this will be the most helpful 45 minutes you've ever had for your book, okay? And now, thirdly, obviously you might want to work with us. And so on that call, if you're a fit and if you qualify to work with us, we'll talk about what that looks like, okay? This isn't some hard sales pitch or anything. And just to be super straight up, we're very picky about who we work with. So we have thousands of people apply to work with us monthly. We only accept a handful of folks into the program, okay? So we've got about an 8% acceptance rate. Harvard's acceptance rate is about 5 to 6%. So you could say it's as hard to get into selfpublishing.com almost as it is to get into Harvard. And that's true. That's not hyperbole. That's just math. Right, but that's because we care about our authors, and we want to make sure, hey, if we're working together, that you can be successful. Okay, and so I see we've already got a bunch of folks booking calls. I love it. Anna, Janie, love it. I think Daniela, you may be booked as well. So go ahead and book if you haven't already. Head on over to this page, or click the orange schedule now button. And then once you've booked a call, just comment in the chat with the phrase, I booked a call. Okay. So when you click the link, it's going to take you to a page that looks kind of like this. There's a brief application. Just fill out this application. There's an orange button that says find a time. So when you click that button, it's going to load a calendar with some times. I want you to click the time that's closest to now that works for you. We might have appointments left today. I'm not sure. If we do, great. If that works for you, book that time that's closest to now that works for you. And then once you confirm your appointment, it's going to take you to a page that looks kind of like this. Okay, I think we've got a new video here maybe, but it's a confirmation page. There's also some free resources on this page to help you further with your book and to help you get the most out of your call. Okay, so there's a free copy of my book on this page as well. So when you confirm your call on that, make sure you see that on the page. You can get ebook, audiobook, etc. on that page once you've booked a call. Okay, now we do have a fast action bonus. I mentioned this earlier. So we love action takers. It's typically a sign that we're going to have a lot of fun working together and that you're going to be really successful. Okay, so if you book a call live while we're on this webinar, now you've got to type in the chat the phrase, I booked a call. Okay, but if you do so, if you're accepted into the program and you decide to enroll on that call, a couple things will happen. One, I'll personally promote your book to our community and to our Facebook page of over 110,000 people. Okay. We'll also, this is fun. If you send us a copy of your book, we'll do a feature on our Instagram. You can check out our Instagram and you can see the Who's Next series that we have. That's really fun of us opening people's books when they launch. It's really, really fun, and you can be featured as part of that as well. Okay, so book a call live and you'll qualify for this fast action bonus if you show up and decide to enroll on that call. I see we got a bunch more folks booking. I love it. Amazing. Awesome. Okay, this brings me to number 5. And the 5 things that those 100+ authors did to publish successfully with us. Number 5, they made a decision to get started now. For so many people, writing a book is on the maybe someday list. It's on the maybe next year list. Maybe you're thinking that right now. Oh man, it's summer. It's coming into summer. I don't know if I'm going to have time. Maybe next year, maybe someday. I'll tell you, seeing thousands of authors publish over a decade, the people who succeed are the people who make a decision to get started now. So many of them on a webinar like this, 3 months ago, 9 months ago, a year ago, they made a decision to get started. And so I would encourage you, take that next step. That's the decision that you've got the opportunity to make right now while we're here. All right, make a decision, book a call with the team. It's going to be helpful whether we work together or not. And we're going to map out a plan to help you be successful with your book. Don't wait. Don't put it off. All right. Book a call with the team, and we can't wait to help you with your book. Okay. Rui says, I've confirmed the call. Monica booked a call. So did Mihai, Sunday, Janie, Jamed, Stephanie, Catalin. Yeah, just reach out to your strategist once you book a call, and they can help you with that. Barbara booked a call. So did Jennifer. Bunch more folks as we speak, right? So I can't tell you how often I've had people, or how many times I've had people say, Chandler, I almost didn't book a call. I almost didn't sign up to work with you. And I'm so glad that I did, because it changed my life forever. Books change lives, right? But only if you do the thing, right? And so it takes 2 to tango in that way, to where, hey, if you commit to this and we start working together, okay, awesome. Your life's going to be changed in the process of writing and publishing that book. And it's going to help you create an impact, an income, and a business in the process, right? And so don't wait. Book a call with the team. I want you to circle today on your calendar. Look back on today, 6 months from now, 12 months from now, and say, that was the day that changed everything, right? That was the day that changed everything. But only if you make a decision, right? To commit to yourself, commit to this book, and to take the first step by booking a call with the team, right? So we'd love to help you. You can tell I get pretty fired up about this stuff. We do this all day, every day. And it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. All right. So I'm going to answer a few more questions. So drop your questions in the chat if you have them. I see Barbara booked a call. Jennifer booked a call. Daisy, Anna booked a call. Danielle, maybe it might be a server issue, or you might have to just refresh. And then, yeah, same with you, Andrea. Looks like Matthew booked a call. And so what's probably happening is there's a bunch of people booking a call as we speak. And so I see a couple of people are like, hey, the calendar didn't show up, or the time went away, or whatever else. So you might just have to refresh, and then that might get it to work, or it might be based on your application. All right. So go ahead and book a call right now. We'd love to help you with your book. I know for some people, this is maybe a little bit intimidating. Maybe you were excited about the book and you showed up and you're like, oh my gosh, am I really about to speak to another human about my idea and get the wheels in motion here? I'll tell you, if you're feeling that pit in your stomach right now, it's very normal, first of all. And I'll tell you, I can't speak for you, but I can speak for myself. Anytime I feel that little weird pit in my stomach, it's almost always a sign that is something I should lean into. Because why do I feel that pit in my stomach? Well, because I'm about to get outside of my comfort zone and I'm about to grow. Right? And that's why I feel that pit in my stomach, because it means I'm about to grow. And I love this quote from John Maxwell. I was at a conference with him the other day. He said, every big thing in life that's happened because I got outside of my comfort zone. He said, because if it was in my comfort zone, I'd already have it. If it was in my comfort zone, I'd already have it. Right? And man, it's so if you feel that pit in your stomach, again, it's probably a sign that's at least worth exploring and leaning into. All right. And I love this note, Amy. Thank you so much. This means the world. I'm going to take a screenshot of this note. This is awesome, Amy. Share this with the team. This will make their day. Amy says, I talked with 2 of your staff members in the past month. They are stellar human beings. I've never witnessed anything like it. Many thanks. That's awesome, Amy. That means a lot. Thank you so much. Hopefully we'll be able to help you with your book as well. Love it. Okay, we'll click the link, book a call with the team. I see Clara just booked a call. Sunday, I think it is. We have had some folks use AI in the writing process. We've got videos on our YouTube channel about kind of our stance on that and how it can be helpful, but not, AI slop and that sort of thing. Got it. Yeah, no problem, Danielle. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and say last call to book a call. Last call to book a call. So if you haven't already, go ahead and book a call with the team. We're excited to map out your book and see how we might be able to help. Love it. Okay, a few things as we wrap. So click the link, go ahead and book a call. Last call, comment in the chat, I booked a call. I would love to give you a shout out and also feature your book, and that's how you qualify for the fast action bonus, obviously. And so we'd love to help get you started and get your book published. It's really exciting. I want to give a shout out to Harf, Eikер, and the team for bringing me in here to speak today. Obviously, Harf, such an incredible example of using your book to absolutely blow up your business. I mean, he is a crazy awesome example of that. So if you check out on our YouTube channel, you can see the interview that I did with Harf on the channel. So it's been a minute, but it's there, and you might find that inspiring. And obviously, they believe in us and what we do, and so that's why they brought us in here. And so I just appreciate their belief and support of helping more people publish books. Okay, so a couple last things. I'm going to go ahead and say last call to book a call. So click the link, book a call, comment in the chat if you've done so. Okay, we're going to send you an email in about 24 hours that will be excuse me, sorry. We're going to send you a replay in about 24 hours, and that's the email. So keep an eye out for that. If you miss something, if I talk too fast, or maybe you know someone who's working on a book, keep an eye out for that email and check out the replay or forward that to someone who that would be helpful for. As part of that, you'll also get a link to my slides, my notes, and a copy of my book. Obviously, if you go ahead and book a call on the thank you page, don't miss that. There's a free digital copy of my book as well. And I think that's it. Love it, Danielle, getting booked. Yeah, Daniel, no problem. We can help with that. Daniel booked a call. Awesome. Yeah, you can book via that link. Andrea, Daniela booked a call. Let's see. Patricia says all the slots have been taken. You might just need to refresh, Patricia. Maybe somebody else can let me know if you guys are still seeing slots. You're welcome, Monica. I love it. we're going to wrap up here. Hey, thank you guys for showing up. Thanks for staying to the end. I hope that you found this helpful, and I hope this was a good nudge in the direction of getting your book done. And most importantly, I hope that you implement. All right, I'm not in the inspiration business. I'm in the implementation business. So I don't want this to be something where you're inspired, you show up, you're encouraged. A month from now, 3 months from now, you don't do anything with it. I think the ultimate litmus test of was this a good use of your time and my time is, do you implement what you've just learned? So instead, a few months from now, I want you to be holding a copy of your book, right? But that only happens if you take action. And I know that obviously the best next step is for us to map out a strategy and a plan with you live on this call. Okay. So, hey, thank you guys so much. We look forward to chatting with you real soon. Let's get your book done. See ya.